From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Friday, May the 31st, 2019. A Palestinian terrorist attacked two Israelis this morning in Jerusalem's Old City. The 19-year-old West Bank resident entered the Damascus Gate and stabbed an Israeli man in his 50s multiple times in the neck and upper torso. He then stabbed a 16-year-old teenage boy in the back who was able to run for help. The terrorist then ran after another young man, but was soon intercepted by Israel police, who saw him with a knife and shot him dead. The first victim was in critical but stable condition, the teen in light to moderate condition. Israel police increased security checks in and around Jerusalem in light of the incident. And just hours later, the last Friday prayers of the holy Muslim month of Ramadan were held in the Old City. Some 260,000 Muslim worshippers were reported to have prayed at the Al-Aqsa Mosque, the Temple Mount, without any incident. Israel police are also looking into an incident in the West Bank today when a 16-year-old Palestinian, apparently trying to climb over the guarded security fence from Bethlehem into Jerusalem, was shot by Israeli soldiers. He died at the scene. The White House said this week that the national security advisors of the United States, Israel, and Russia will soon meet in Jerusalem. John Bolton, Meir Ben-Shabbat, and Nikolai Patrushev will convene, they said, to discuss regional security issues, likely thought to include Iran's involvement in Syria. Hamas terror leader Yahya Sinwar proudly admitted that Iran had given Hamas the rockets used recently to attack Israel from Gaza. In a live TV address last night, Sinwar said, "Iran provided us with rockets and we surprised the world when our resistance targeted Beersheba," warning if Israel, quote, resumes its aggression, unquote, again, Hamas would strike Tel Aviv and other cities with even more rockets. Palestinian Islamic Jihad leader Ziad Nahala told Hezbollah's Al-Manar TV today that terror groups in Gaza could launch thousands of rockets at Israel, claiming they also have half-ton warheads. Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad fired nearly 700 rockets at Israel at the beginning of this month. And in Iran today, thousands protested against Israel on what is known as Al-Quds Day, referring to the Arabic name for Jerusalem. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo addressed recent remarks made by German Commissioner on Anti-Semitism Felix Klein, who had said last week that he cannot advise Jews to wear the kippah everywhere all the time in Germany because of the rise of anti-Semitic incidents there. Those remarks were then followed by statements from German leaders and others that Jews should feel free to wear a kippah, a skull cap, anywhere. Pompeo told a press conference in Berlin today alongside German Chancellor Angela Merkel, "We were concerned to see Jews discouraged from wearing the yarmulke in public out of safety concerns. None of us should shrink in the face of prejudice." Britain's Equality and Human Rights Commission has launched a formal investigation into allegations of anti-Semitism in the UK's Labour Party. The anti-racism watchdog said it would look into whether the party had discriminated against, harassed, or victimized Jews in violation of the UK's 2006 Equality Act. Well, Yom Yerushalayim, Jerusalem Day, will be celebrated this weekend. The Israeli national holiday, which begins tomorrow, Saturday night into Sunday, commemorates the reunification of Jerusalem in the aftermath of the Six-Day War in June of 1967. And coming up on Sunday, it's the annual Celebrate Israel Parade, where over 40,000 marchers will make their way down Fifth Avenue in New York City, along with hundreds of organizations and entertainers, and of course, dozens of beautiful floats. I spoke earlier today to the Consul General of Israel in New York, Ambassador Dani Dayan, who will be aboard the Israeli float and marching in the parade, to hear his thoughts on this year's event. So what can people expect from the parade this year?
Well, you know, the parade, the Celebrate Israel parade in Fifth Avenue is the largest event of identification, support for the state of Israel outside of Israel itself. It's an amazing tradition that continues for decades. And really, I think that it's one of the, for me as the Israeli senior diplomatic representative in New York, I think it's just an heartwarming event that even beyond description. I think that for us, Israel is not only to feel, but also to see and hear the support that the American Jewish community, and not only the Jewish community, the New York community at large, with the governor, with the mayor, with other elected officials, gives to Israel is so encouraging that we really thank the organizers. We can't thank enough.
And of course, Donnie, we know that on occasion, unfortunately, there are those who are very critical of Israel, and even those who really make some very upsetting and disturbing statements. There was just a commencement day speech given at a graduate school at NYU, a lecture at UCLA. It's so upsetting. Is there a message you feel perhaps with this celebration of Israel and this strong show of support for Israel? Is there a message you would like to convey to those who seek to target the state of Israel in this way?
Well, there are those that there is no any benefit in trying to explain to them, because their hatred towards Israel, towards the Jewish people, is such that no rational argument will make them change their way. But I do have a message to the editors of newspapers that publish anti-Semitic cartoons, or to the presidents of universities that permit such commencement speeches. And my message to them, which, by the way, I also conveyed to them personally, is that we are in a time in which anti-Semitism is on the rise. We suffered 12 Jews killed in this country in the last year. And in campuses, the battle is not for against this or that Israeli policy, but people that deny Israel's right to exist. They want to annihilate Israel. And I wish to remind those that have authority, whether there are editors of large newspapers in this city or presidents of large universities, that they have a responsibility. They have an educational responsibility. They cannot be just mere spectators or people that, in the aftermath of an event, condemn it. They should be proactive in and stop feeding the anti-Semitic feelings that unfortunately are raising their ugly heads, sometimes disguised as anti-Israeli sentiments.
Well, we look forward to a display of incredible support for the State of Israel. It's always so moving to see the marchers coming down Fifth Avenue. You will be on board the Israeli float, is that correct?
I will be in the Israeli float with a young black Jewish artist, young Gravy, that is amazing. But I will also march with Governor Cuomo. I will also march part of the parade with Mayor de Blasio and with other elected officials.
Well, we look forward to it, and we thank you so much for some time today, and we hope the parade is a wonderful event, as it always is. Thank you so much, Ambassador Dayan.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you. And by the way, if you cannot attend the Celebrate Israel Parade in person this year, we will air it live here on JBS, Sunday from noon to 3. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight, Friday, May the 31st at 7 o'clock, it's Kabbalat Shabbat services from the Hampton Synagogue, followed by Shabbat services from Central Synagogue. And then it's the film Blue and Gray. At 10:30, it's Musica with a spotlight on female singers. And coming up right after this newscast, Ken Spiro looks at Jewish wonders, followed by Rabbi Shlomo Riskin discussing this week's Torah portion. And by the way, we will also have special programming for Yom Yerushalayim this weekend as well. You can always find more information at jbstv.org. And that's the JBS News Update for Friday, May the 31st, 2019. I'm Teisha Bader. Shabbat Shalom.